It's going on holiday today, so I don't know what to do with myself. I'm just trying to relax and stuff. So in my relaxation, as my wife is at the beach, I want to show you my library. Now this is just the small bits of it, and I'm going to show you my personal library. So just going to show you some of the books that I've got here, and then I'm going to show you some more books, and just give you a feel for the kind of reading that I like. So let's go. So um, you can see Unger's Dictionary, some banner books there, uh, King James Life Application Bible, um, Confessions there. I use the NIV Study Bible because of the study notes. This is my main Bible, which is New King James by Holman, and then I have a King James as well. This is one of my favourite books on the Psalms, William Scroggie. And this book is a great book, Samuel Rutherford and His Friends by Faith Cook, published by the Banner of Truth. And these books down here, I don't want to pull them out, but you've got J. Adams, A Theology of Christian Counsel and Inerrancy by Giesler. These commentaries, one of the commentaries that I find really helpful is the Welland commentary series by Evangelical Press. So they're really, really good, and Stuart Olliott's is good, and this is Guy Apere on Colossians, is very, very good, but Stuart Olliott's done some for them. And then you got the William Hendrickson commentaries, which are a bit wooden, but some helpful information on the gospel. So anyhow, so we haven't even started yet, so we haven't even begun. So this is my own personal library. Here, and here. So there's Monica chilling out. So I'm going to just show you through my own personal library. So the books that I value, I'll show you. So you got here Vines, W.E. Vine. He did a dictionary. It's a really good book on Romans. You got Francis Schaeffer, The God Who Is There. If you're dealing with philosophy and stuff like that, it's very helpful just to get an introduction by Francis Schaeffer, The God Who Is There. So yeah, Calvin and the Atonement by Robert A. Peterson, published by Mentor. Mentor do some good books, theology books. Tenney New Testament IVF. The old IVF publications, if you get them second hand, are very helpful, very good. Kendall, Calvin and English Calvinism, R.T. Kendall. He took over from Lloyd Jones, and he came up with a thesis that Calvinists were not preaching through the true gospel, that they become like kind of, what can I say, kind of wooden orthodox, and that Calvinists were preaching law to get people saved. In other words, he was saying that what his thesis, Kendall's thesis was, is that he was, this is years ago, I mean, I read this like 20 years ago, so I'm just trying to remember. But apparently, I think Kendall's thesis was that the Puritans emphasizing repentance, they were actually emphasizing a work salvation, which is nonsense. I love Kendall, but you can't say Kendall, R.T. Kendall, is the most soundest of guys. So his thesis was a complete load of nonsense, really, because salvation is by grace, and that's what the Puritans preached. Does God Believe in Atheist? By John Blanchard. He recently passed away. Very, very good book on atheism. Gives you facts about Nietzsche and Karl Marx. It's a very, very helpful book by Evangelical Press. The old IVP commentaries by Guthrie, Motius, Stibbs, Wiseman are okay. Modern ones are not so good, I think. The Catholic Faith by W.H. Griffith Thomas. Anything by this Anglican minister, Anglican theologian, it is really good. Can you see it? Anything by W.H. Griffith Thomas is good. I mean, he was an Anglican, evangelical Anglican theologian. And when he says Catholic faith there, he's on about universal faith. He's not on about Catholicism. You got Hudson Taylor there. Oh, what a life his is. It is a major life, Hudson Taylor. I read it all the time. I've read Hudson Taylor about 4 or 5 times recently. A great blessing. Anyhow, let's go through some more. Protestant Dictionary by C. Sidney Carter and G. Wilson. Well, some of these Protestants were not experimental. Like this came in around about 1920-30. It's very wooden. It's not got. It's not of the Jonathan Edwards or the Charles Spurgeon kind of writing. It's a very wooden, arid intellectualism that really is not evangelical. The Epistle of Ephesians by Charles Hodge. Anything by Charles Hodge, The Banner of Truth, is helpful. This is an interesting book, Voices from the Welsh Revival by Brian Moore P. Jones. Bryntinian Evangelical Press of Wales. Evangelical Press of Wales is very, very helpful publisher. They published many good books in the past. Ancient Writers, the Epistles of Clement of Rome and St. Ignatius of Antioch, which I've read, and it's good to read these ancient writers, their epistles. It's not the word of God, by the way. This is a couple of nice little books here. Corrections in the Quran by Daniel. Can you see it? Corrections in the Quran. Let's just put it there. Yeah, let's just put that there. Yeah, let me see if I can change it. Yeah, there we are. Corrections in the Early Quran by Daniel Allen Brubaker is a very helpful book on Quranic textual criticism. Walter Chantry, Today's Gospel, Authentic and Synthetic, is a very good book by The Banner of Truth. Really good book on getting back to the plain simplicity of the gospel. This is a great little book. This is a cracking little book. Biblical Strategies for Witness Peter Masters, published by Wakeman. It's a cracking little book on evangelism. I recommend it. Highly recommend it. Then we have this book here. Stephen Charnock, The Puritan, great book on the doctrine of God. Another one of, I think this is Charles Hodge, yeah? Yeah, Charles Hodge, Banner of Truth, anything by him. Keelan DeLeach. Now, these commentaries, I have a lot of these commentaries. I have his full set, their full set 10. And there's some here, yeah? These are very, very difficult to read. I hardly ever use them, but I'm going to have to start using them more. But if you want to do some really deep, in-depth study on the Old Testament, they're highly intellectual, very, very deep. The Life of Jonathan Edwards by Ian Murray, one of my favourite biographies of all time, is a beautiful book by Ian Murray. Oh, it's just a wonderful book to read that, so I encourage you to get hold of that. Yeah. F.F. Bruce on the Parchments is excellent. Samuel Rutherford's letters there excellent. The Life of George Whitefield, Analytical Greek New Testament. What else is there? These homiletical commentaries are a great help if you're just preparing sermons. It has you lots of sermon notes. It's published by Baker. They're worth the weight in gold. Very helpful if you've got a lot of sermons to prepare. An introduction to the Old Testament is very helpful. And the New Testament by Don Carson is very helpful. Charles Hodge, Systematic Theology, and Lloyd Jones's sermons. There's the New Testament one, an introduction to the New Testament. Carson, Moo, Morris, very, very scholarly, very, very helpful. A must read and very helpful if you want to do debates and discussions at Speaker's Corner. Early Church Fathers, information there. Burkle Systematic Theology, very heavy but very helpful. What else is there? There's lots of stuff here. J.C. Ryle's Knots Untied. This is a textual criticism book. I don't agree with everything there. Yeah, and then you have Luther's commentary on Galatians, Gospel of John by Westcott. I don't agree with everything Westcott. He was a bit dodgy on some things. Historical Theology by William Cunningham. A Guide to the Gospels by William Scroggie. Life of William Tyndale. And encyclopedias down there. Then we come to here. Then we got James Fassett and Brown commentary. Charles Hodge and Romans. J.C. Ryle. This is an interesting character. I don't agree with everything this guy's wrote. A very interesting book, set of books. There's 3, I think. Very, very interesting. Eric Sauer, very, very interesting writer. Even if you're not dispensational, like I'm from a Reformed point of view, but it's very interesting. He covers the whole Bible, outlines, and it's very interesting. Very good for Bible study and stuff. Eric Sauer, very interesting character. John Piper, Desiring God, The Welsh Revival, Evans. Handley Moore, always get some of his commentaries, the Bishop of Handley Moore. The Case for Christ by Strobel, it's actually a very helpful apologetic work. You got John Calvin's Institutes here. You got Sibs down there. You got Christian Incomplete Armour here. Lloyd Jones on Preaching here. Henry Martin here. Ridderbos on Paul there. Campbell Morgan down here on, I think it's Isaiah. The History of the Reformed Baptist by the Banner of Truth. Vincent's Word Studies there. John Mary's works. Kingdom of Cults. A lot of books here on revival. There's tons of books that I've got here on revival, Jonathan Edwards on revival. Daniel Smith says, have I got Christ of the Covenants? Yeah, I've got it. By O. Palmer. It's a great lit book. I've got it knocking around. See up there? It's probably up there somewhere. I did have it in my special read section, But if you look up there, there's also other books up there. Hendrickson's introduction. David Paulson's introduction. Edith Schaefer here. Wow, if you preached at your chapel, you were blessed. Palmer Robertson, what a great guy. I love that guy. I used to listen to his sermons quite a bit a few years ago. Hey, this is a good book to read. I really enjoyed this. Oh, two books here to read. So here, George Whitfield. And this book is a cracker. The St. Andrews 7. What an amazing book that is. Published by Banner, Stuart Piggin and John. So that's a great book. It's about missionaries converted in Cambridge. Excellent. Excellent. And this is a good book, actually. It's a very, very good book. I actually made a course for the seminary from this book, Spiritual Leadership by J. Oswald Sanders. It's a cracking little book. It really is. Spiritual Leadership by J. Oswald Sanders. Cracking book. Get hold of it. It's really it's not reformed, but it's really excellent. Men of the Covenants by Alexander Smiley. Spurgeon on Matthew. Principles of Conduct by John Murray. The Death of Death by John Owen. Oh, I love my Banner books, so you see a lot of Banner. You see here, Fox's, is it? Yeah, Fox's Book of Martyrs. It's 3 volumes. There's 2 volumes there, and then there's a volume here. I need to put them in section there. So there we are. I've got a lot of dictionaries around to help theology students if they want to study with me. So there we are. That's just a little survey. Oh, there's a beautiful book, Calvin's Sermons. Abingdon Bible Commentary is Methodist, Nazarene and Methodist, I think. But interesting. Edersheim, Life of Jesus. Then there's lots of Greek and Hebrew parallel Old and New Testament things, you know, dictionaries of theology, which I brought for theology students and stuff. Yeah, so I just thought I'd show you a little bit of my library. Apostolic Fathers, Carson on the Gospel of John, Campbell Morgan again there, E.J. Young there, John Whitfield's journals there, Josephus is up there. I don't know if you can see it. It's just under Thomas Boston. Thomas Brooks, the Puritan at the top. Jonathan Edwards over there. Yeah, there we are, folks. You've seen it all now. A little bit of my library. My favorite books in here. Let's see. What's my favorite? My favorites. My favorites, I think my favorites are anything by J.C. Ryle. Anything by J.C. Ryle, I think. His commentaries on Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. So J.C. Ryle. I don't think they're comic books, but I think anything by J.C. Ryle is worth reading. So I think J.C. Ryle has got to be one of my all-time favorite writers, I think. J.C. Ryle. What else is there? My favorite systematic theology is in here. Yeah, Daniel Smith says Herman Bavinck. I mean, I've not got physical copies of Herman Bavinck, but he's my favorite theologian, I think. I think This systematic theology here by Dr. Robert L. Raymond has got to be one of my favorites. And I think that's why I have it on my shelf here on my desk, is the Westminster Confession is one of my favorites. So L. Raymond is my favorite systematic theology. I always go back to that. And my other favorites are the Westminster Confession. I always have them on my desk and I always look at them, and by Robert Shaw. So these two I always go back to all the time. I'm always going back to this one by A.A. Hodge and Robert Shaw. Because when you read them, you just feel like you're a baby in Christ. What else? I think I'm just trying to think. Yeah, Herman Bavinck. I read his 4 volumes when I was at Luther King House, a very liberal seminary. They had I got them to order the 4 volumes of systematic theology, so I read it about 15 years ago, I think. Herman Bavinck's Reformed Dogmatics. So that has got to be my all-time favorite theology book of all time. Herman Bavinck's Reformed Dogmatics. I think that my favorite biography writer is Ian Murray. I think Lloyd Jones, Life of Lloyd Jones by Ian Murray, and his Life of Jonathan Edwards by Ian Murray. I think they have to be my favorite. He has to be one of my favorite biographers. You know, I think that one of my favorite biographies that I read all the time is, I read this one all the time, and that's by John Pollock. I'm not into John Pollock. It's not particularly reform book, but I really have enjoyed this, being a missionary myself now. Hudson Taylor and Maria by John Pollock. I've really found this book a help over the last 2 years being in Africa. It's really helped me a lot. It really is a help to me, this. But my favorite systematic theology is Herman Bavinck's Reformed Dogmatics of all time. My favorite biographical writer is Ian Murray. My favorite preacher of all time is got to be the Doctor, Dr. Martin Lloyd-Jones. He has to be my favorite preacher of all time that I enjoy listening to. Or if it weren't for Lloyd-Jones, I wouldn't be here. So Jonathan Edward Conference, amen. So Dr. Martin Lloyd-Jones has got to be my favorite preacher of all time. And then Spurgeon. You know, Spurgeon's lectures to my students there. R.C. Sproul, yeah, R.C. Sproul is one of my favorites. He's got to be one of my favorites of all time. I always listen to R.C. Sproul, yeah, definitely. So yeah, so that's just some. There's so many books that I've read, but A.W. Pink, Profiting from the Word, is a brilliant book. This has been one of my favorites of all time, is this book. This book has been a great blessing to me over the years. This one, A Body of Divinity by Thomas Watson. I've found this book a real help to me over the years. It's really been a blessing. It's got to be one of the best. In terms of like, in terms of like apologetics, you know, I've not got it here, but I used to have it. I think Yeshua Ministries has my copy, and that is Richard Balcomb's Jesus and the Eyewitnesses is a good book for apologetics. It gives you an outline of the historical Jesus. He's not an inerrantist, so I don't agree with him. I think he's a bit dodgy that way, but it's a very helpful book on apologetics on the historical Jesus front. What else? And there's some great old Reform writers, not even before B.B. Warfield, like names that are not known. You just need to go and research, but I can't give you the names. I like William Scroggie. He was a dispensationalist, but there's some of his books here. But William Scroggie is very helpful on outlines of the Bible. And being a person who loves the King James, I have a lot of Greek things, Greek interlinear that back up the King James Textus Receptus text, which I think is important, because I think a lot of textual criticism is in modern times has gone away. It's not being what it should have been, really. What I mean is it's been corrupted by rationalism. What else is there? There's loads of stuff. Some of my favourite sermons of all time has got to be Lloyd Jones. Sermon on the Mount sermons, excellent. Francis Schaeffer has always been a help to me over the years. I don't read him as much now, but when I first started off, he was a help in apologetics. I know Van Til's more heavyweight, and Greg Banson. Oh, and Greg Banson has got to be my favourite all-time apologist. Greg Banson is my favourite all-time apologist. I don't have any Greg Banson books around. I think I've got him on PDF, but I don't have him here. A good book for church history. It's not Reform, but we had to read it at seminary at Nazarene College. It's this book here, A History of the Christian Church by Walker. It's a very interesting book. What else is there? Christian Incomplete Armors down there. Here, I had 2 copies. I had a hardback copy, so I wonder where that's gone. I've read quite a bit of early church fathers the last few years. So you've got up there Irenaeus at the top, just under Daniel Rowland. You go a bit further down, and I've got a lot of Wesley material. Because I was starting a seminary, and I started a library for a seminary, Grace of God Library, at the J.C. Ryle Library for the Grace of God Seminary. I collected a lot of stuff for that library, but because they didn't want it, I brought it here. So I do have a lot of, you can't see it, but right at the top, just above the big white, you can see the white one there at the top. That's Young's Bible. But if you go above that, just above it, round about there, you can see one diary of Wesley. I've got many, many books on John Wesley for research for Bible college students and theology students, as well as Whitfield's. I've got a couple of sets of Whitfield biography and sermons and things, just to help students. So pray I get the students, because you got Matthew Henry's commentary here. Good old Matthew Henry. There's other commentaries as well. There's academic commentaries knocking around. What else is there? Yeah, a little book that's really nice is Imitation of Christ. It's very, very humble. Thank you for praying for Arnold and George. They've gone out to the beach with my wife, and Florence and Mary, the two girls that are staying with us. So there we are, folks. I've got a lot of research material on the Dead Sea Scrolls here, knocking about in the library. It's something I'm interested in. This is if you're going to be an apologist, this is a basic book you need. Introduction to the New Testament by Carson, Moot and Morris, and this one by Longerman. What else is there? Just looking, seeing what there is. Like I said, there's quite a bit of academic stuff here, which some of you might not be interested in. There's quite a lot of books on ethics and things to help Bible college and theology students. This is an academic work. I don't particularly agree with it. I think it's a bit wishy-washy. It's an academic book on Christian ethics. So students need to know what people are thinking. But these are more evangelical. I don't like the way that's been put in there. I don't like the way they put that in there. But this book here, Evangelical Ethics, published by Presbyterian and Reformed. So I'm going to put that back in a minute. Yeah, so we have all the works here, folks, to train pastors and train students. So pray that there would be a hunger in Ghana, that they would come and study with me and have the intelligence and spiritual desire to train with me, and I'll introduce them to good literature and help them to study. Yeah. So there we are, folks. Now, the library that I brought from UK to here, to Accra, was, I think, 3 times as big as this. 3 times bigger than this. And I brought it for the pastors in Ghana, but they didn't want it. So I've left a few in Accra. I've given some out to people, and then I've kept a third of them. So I pray that these ones will be used in Winnipeg and Ghana. So pray that these be used to help people. But I'm weary, folks, because they're just not hungry for the word. So there we are. I did my best. I brought them. It was the best library in Ghana that I brought. There was no library like it in Ghana. Not even the third millennium people, the Reformed people. I went to their base in Ghana, and it was nothing compared to the library that we'd set up in Accra. But the pastors didn't want it. They just want to throw powder on people and claim that that's a miracle, and they don't want to study, you know. Just putting these books back nice. You know, these are like babies to me. People don't understand that. Books to me, they're like my family. You know, they're like my family. So, My Utmost for My Highest by Oswald Chambers is a cracking book. It's a cracking book. I read this a while back about Dr. Martin Lloyd-Jones, his life, by John Brencher. There we are. Very interesting book. Very interesting. Shows the weakness of Lloyd-Jones. I mean, I love Lloyd-Jones, but it shows some of his weakmanship, which was in churchmanship. He didn't have a strong doctrine of churchmanship, by the way. Not a lot of people knew that or know that. So there we are. So you've seen some of my library, folks. I'll show you the kitchen in here. This is the kitchen. This is thanks to your donations and things. We've been able to get a bigger fridge so that we can put food in for the kids. And we've been able to have a cooker. My wife didn't have a cooker before. And also in the storeroom, my wife and I, we used to wash by hand. So for like 2 years, a year and a half or more, that we were washing by hand. But now my wife can put a washing. When my wife, I shall just put it on. Now to me and you, a washing machine is no big deal, yeah? But when my wife, listen to this, when my wife puts the clothes in, for the first week, she just kept sitting and watching the washing machine going round. To her, it was like a miracle. So she needed it. She's not well. She can't be washing by hand. I can't be washing by hand. I've not done that before, and it's quite labour intensive. But she used to just watch the washing machine a few weeks ago. She was watching it because she's never seen anything like it. So this is the storeroom. There's a bit of thing in there. Just a bit of food. They've had their food and they've all gone out to the thing. There's a microwave there. And a kettle and a toaster. And rice been made there. And we got this table here so that the kids could eat. So the kids eat here mainly. And we've got this library here so people can come and sit here and study if they want to. That's the aim. We just need to pray that we get people hungry for the word, you know. So in here is a toilet, and in here is shower, which is big, but we have two toilets, two showers. This is a spare room in here. This is where the girls are staying. So this is where the girls are staying at the moment. Florence and Mary, this is their room. And then this is our front room. And this is what you guys provided. You provided people, especially one person that provided the money to be able to rent this house and have the furniture so we're comfortable. And this is our dining table, so me and Dorcas can have a bit of privacy. And then bring the kids here and have family meal a few times a week. And this is the office, where I need my own private office eventually, you know. So that's it, folks. A little bit around there. Through there's my wife and I bedroom, and we have in there another toilet and shower. And all this has been provided by you folks. You provided everything so we could have a mission house. And using this mission house, we've given one room to two girls whose father died a few months ago. Florence and Mary's father died a few months ago. The mother didn't have any money. They didn't have any money. They weren't going to school because they couldn't afford to get to school or go to school. So I said to my wife, they're going to end up getting pregnant. They're 14 years of age, or 13, 14. And I said, we need to get them up here. So they're up here and they're living with us. And I'm just treating them as my daughters, really, and Dorcas's, and that's what we've done. And they have the spare room, and there's a shower there for them and a toilet. And yeah, so, but you provided this, and we're using it to help people. We're using it to share the gospel. We have a church plant outside on the porch. There is a cross there, but I don't believe in using the cross. It's just because we got married with the cross, so it's like a family heirloom. So please don't think, oh, Jesus is putting cross in church. No, it's just a family heirloom, you know. So I'll show you the porch. But if you see the cross, don't say, "Oh, Jason's gone into Catholicism." We got married under the cross, you know. We got married under the cross, so we brought it. We brought it so that, you know. So this is the porch. So I'll show you. So there's MacArthur. MacArthur, say hello. How's it going, lad? Eh? I know they'll be coming back soon. Yeah, say hello. Be back soon. She'll have some food for you, bro. So take a chill pill. So we sit under there. And this is the porch. So here we're having a lot of youth meetings at the moment. We're getting a lot of youth coming every day. So we're going to have to put this at the back of the house, all this stuff, because it's getting on Dorcas' nerves, you know. So, but this is the porch. You provided all this, but we use this. We use it for church. So we have church here like 4 times a week, and we have youth meetings twice a week. But I think, to be honest, it's like 4 times a week with the youth. And you can see some chickens over there. Because it's holiday, very quiet. So, like I said, we need security. We're going to get some lights and get some things sorted out this week, thanks to your donations. Yeah, come on, say hello. MacArthur, lad. John MacArthur. Come here, lad. What's all this? Come here, come here. Good boy, yeah. I'll let you out in a minute, yeah? In a minute. All right. But if I let you out, you start biting my feet. It's a bit dirty down there. We need to do some burning. This is the house. Yeah. Good boy. We sit under the tree there. So there we are, folks. So my wife and Florence and Mary and Arnold and George and some of the kids there. Yeah, so they're if I let him off his lead, he starts biting my feet. I have to keep jumping up and down. So there we are, folks. Just letting you see. And you provided it all. People, one person in particular donated the vast majority of the money, but people have helped, and you're helping us, sustaining us here. We're using every bit of the house, apart from this room here. There's a room the landlord said is ours, but he's not released it yet. So we use all the house to help people, bless people. There's a mission house. People come, we give them food, we help them. We have the church here. We have 4 youth meetings a week. We have 4 church services a week. So it's pretty busy mission house. I'm glad it's quiet today. I'm glad the kids have gone to the beach. We have one boy, little boy, coming every day. And he comes like morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning. He comes about 5 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't want to go till about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm glad he's gone to the beach and give us a bit of a break. So there we are. So I just thought, I don't know what to do with myself. So so there we are. Gotta go. God bless you. Value your prayers. And I'll show you. This is my grandma and my granddad Burns and my grandma. My granddad, he used to buy mills. He used to buy, in the Industrial Revolution, and like in the 50s and 60s when they were pumping out cotton and everything. And then the mill started to go down because Indians and Pakistanis were making it in India. So the mills were closing. My granddad would buy the mills and pull them down. He was also known for clog fighting. He was a clog fighter. And my grandma, I remember my grandma, she was ill once, and at 5, because we lived across the road, I got up one morning and took my sheets from my bed to cover my grandma so she would be warm. But my dad's side, this is my dad's side, my granddad was really, really tough. And my dad's brothers were really, really tough. And this is Naomi, you know, who's been a great help to me over the years. This is my grandma on my mum's side and my mum. I don't know where I think they were in Spain. And this is Dorcas when Dorcas was a little girl. These are her brothers. This is Dorcas. So there we are. So there we are, folks. Oh, and there you have George Whitefield. There you have George Whitefield. So there we are, folks. God bless you. Hope you are all okay. Love to everybody out there. And God bless you. Just pray that as I know that you will, just pray that we can bring the word of God to Africa and that people would be hungry for it and we can do the work. Otherwise, if they don't want the word of God, my job is done. So pray that they want the word of God. Love you all. Take care and God bless. Bye now.